Hello, everybody. This is Melody Lane. Welcome to my channel, and I just want to introduce you first to my cousin Pamela Hunter, who is a wellness practitioner and teacher. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. We're back together again. It's been a while, Melody.
Yes, it's been too long.
It's been my fault. I've been traveling a lot, but now guess where I am? Home sweet home.
That's awesome.
So we also have with us Colin Egglesfield today, everybody. This is exciting to introduce Colin to you in person. Colin is a famous actor and writer. He has a book out called Agile Artist, and he is a motivational speaker and coach. So he is doing things, and I was blessed to meet him in December. And right away, we felt a connection that we had work to do together. And
so much energy, so much fun.
It is fun, and you may remember him.
It smells so good. I was like, wow, why does this woman smell so good? And like, oh, it's essential oils. I was like, give me some of that.
You were like that. And what were you before you were an actor?
I did some fashion modeling in Europe, so
yes.
I did for quite a bit. And before that, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was thinking about maybe going to medical school, but it wasn't something that I was like super passionate about, I guess. And before you knew it, I just ended up in Europe and then New York City, and then somehow on the biggest stages in Hollywood.
Isn't that exciting? Where I was going after is you were a biology major. So all the things in my world, talking to someone intelligent that knew what I was talking about immediately, I was like, wow, this is cool. So it's very cool how multifaceted you are.
Thank you. Yeah.
Some of you guys may remember him on what soap opera?
I played the transplanted, unaborted fetus of Erica Kane on All My Children, if you don't remember that. And then after I stole $20 million from my brother-in-law and took my lesbian sister's girlfriend hostage, my brother-in-law shot me in the head, and then I was brain dead, and Erica Kane transplanted my heart to my sister Kendall so that Kendall could live on. And I then went up into heaven, and I got to play one more episode as a ghost before I finally
Wow.
So will you come back again? Will you come back from the dead ever?
All My Children is off the air, so unless they bring the show back. No. Reality TV killed soap opera, because up until reality TV, like the crazy wackiness was all on soap opera. But then as soon as like the Kardashians and all the other reality stuff came out, they were like, man, this is way more interesting, this real life stuff, than this crazy soap opera stuff. So
very funny, very cool. So what are you into now?
So I am now doing some online courses. I'm still acting. I do have a film that won Best World Premiere at the San Diego Film Festival, and that was in October. And as of right now, I'm not sure about distribution, but that's the whole world of film producing. You never know where your film is going to end up, but it'll end up somewhere, somehow, somewhere, Amazon, Netflix, something like that. But in the meantime, in between my acting jobs, because the reason why I guess I do so many different things, and I'm an entrepreneur, because with acting, you never know when your next job is going to happen. I go sometimes 6 months, 8 months in between acting jobs, and not only from just being able to survive, but from a place of not going stir crazy. I like to stay active. I like to build. I like to create community. I like to have a positive impact on others, and that's why I wrote this book last year, Agile Artist, which is all about helping people identify what their passion is, what their hell yeah is, how to overcome the limiting beliefs that stop us from going after what we really care about. Because going out to Hollywood and working on these big stages was very intimidating when I first started. And I learned from a lot of amazing acting teachers and coaches and and people like that help me establish the type of mindset needed in order to walk into these auditions and confidently just be able to say, here I am, take it or leave it, for better or worse. I'm not perfect, but this is me. This is my unique self. And you know what? As soon as I started to be able to confidently walk into these rooms like that, but it's not even confidence, just being like, you know what? This is me. And you got to understand that you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone likes chocolate, you know? And as soon as you get over that trying to please everyone and trying to be everyone's best friend, oh man, it's like a weight lifts off your shoulders and you can just be yourself. And that's when the real connection happens. And I think that's why you and I connected so well, because I think we both have been on this journey together just to not only be our real true selves, but we love to have an impact on other people. And that's why I'm excited to be now partnering with you with all this Young Living stuff, because it's all in line with what I'm trying to do with create my best self and be healthier. And especially now with what's going on, I just want to make sure that I'm supporting my body with everything it needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, you guys can see, thank you for all of that. You can see why I was like, I got to bring these two together, because Melody keeps all of you guys so passionate about what you love. And I loved your post the other day, Melody, where you said you did a poll on whether crafting helped people stay calm and stress-free, or do they use it to be less stressed? And I loved that you just asked that question, because I wanted to say, of course, that's why they do it. But then, no, the answers were all over the board, and they said yes. But what you do is draw the messages out of people while you teach what you teach. And that's what Colin does with what he's doing. And that's what I work to do as well out here. And it's like, how do we keep this going as a community in all three different areas that we work with? I love bridging you guys together to meet each other and join each other's community, as they're calling you Dex, and they're like saying all these things on the chat. This is really Colin.
Otherwise known as Dex, yes.
A part of you, right? A part of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Melody's very shy when the camera's not on, but is she shy on camera? No, not at all.
I'm shy when I'm in video with other people, though, so I feel a little shy right now.
Okay, well, what can we do to draw you out?
I don't know.
They said on here, Brenda said, Pam's got an oil for confidence. Maybe you need some Valor right now, Melody.
Yeah. I have some. I got it free in my order from Young Living.
Just recently?
Yeah, just the other day.
Yeah. Awesome. So which ones are on your desk right now?
Joy.
Yeah.
Frankincense.
Awesome.
And these just happen to be here in orange.
And orange. Ooh,
yeah, I like
I got
orange.
Stress Away and frankincense right by me, and I'm diffusing thieves. Why do you think I'm diffusing thieves? Oh, stay healthy and well.
I also have the thieves spray here too.
Awesome.
And I just got 3 more of these.
You're like,
before they ran out.
I just drank a Zing. I think I've got, well, look what I've got: an empty bottle of Ninja Red and an empty Zing. All right here.
I stopped ordering the bottles of Ninja Red and I just get the packets. It's so much easier for me just to grab the packet. Yeah.
Colin says the same thing. I kind of like being the junkie and drinking straight from the bottle at the end.
Yeah, I have 4 of those I'm hoarding.
Colin, are you jealous? I got the big boy.
Oh man, how'd you get that? That's like gold right now.
I know. Rack up your points. Rack up your essential reward points, and you can order the big guy really easily for no money. It's all good.
Well, I'm going to use my abundance, and I'm going to just manifest a big giant bottle of thieves.
There you go. That's how we do it, right?
Yeah.
That's how we do it. So what is the messaging that you guys are putting out there right now? Like when you're doing your videos, Melody, has your message changed at all during this time, or has it just been status quo as you teach a new craft?
I just want people to stay home and wash their hands and that type of thing. But I have a question for you, Pamela. Tell us what to do at this time. Like people are like, even myself, I feel overwhelmed with everything. Now I've always worked at home, and now so many more people are working at home and they need so much more from us because they're home. And it's a little overwhelming in how we should feel and type thing. And I think you have the answer.
You do. I'm glad you believe in me.
We did not talk about this ahead of time. I just threw this on her. I'm like,
it's all good though. I'm waking up. I'll start with how I'm feeling, because I work from home a lot also, yet I travel a ton. So I told Melody I'm a little bit off, but a little bit
yeah, that's how I feel.
It's like I don't know what it is, but I'm sensing a lot that's going on in the universe. So I'm up a lot early morning. So I've been meditating for the universe at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And how I'm gonna answer your question for how to handle these waves right now is to flow with it. Allow yourself to move into it. If you restrict it and you say, I'm frustrated, I feel overwhelmed, I can't feel this way, I don't want to feel this way, it's got to stop, and you put that pressure on yourself, it just allows it to grow and come to a bigger heightened state. Instead, let it flow with it. And I know it's not easy for everyone to stop and feel. Mm-hmm. And that's why people are overwhelmed and they're not liking it, because we're actually been given this beautiful moment in space and time to stop and feel. And so I'm gonna offer a tool to you that I learned from a beautiful man that teaches us how to be with dying, if you will, because I do a lot of work with hospice work, as you know, if you've followed any of my stuff. And it's difficult to know how to, what we call, drop into a space. But what I've been doing, even in this time, it has nothing to do with visiting someone that's going through end of life. But we are grieving. We're grieving that we can't get out, or that we're restricted. We're grieving seeing people. The kids are grieving school. They're grieving their friends. So with that, he's had this simple tool. Every doorway you walk through, stop and count the hinges.
And what does that do?
Makes you stop and be aware of where you are in time and space, and be okay with feeling. Get you out of the spin. So a lot of people, when the fear starts in and the overwhelmingness feelings start in, it starts to be a top spiraling. Instead, stop, feel your feet. I like to put one hand on my heart and one hand on my navel, check in with my breath. But to make it simple, because everybody's like, well, yeah, then their mind starts going, count the hinge rings. You know how a hinge has there's little notches to it. Count them. And then just move on. Move forward. But that's how one of the tools that I learned walking into a hospital room, when you're like, what am I going to walk into? And that's kind of where we're at. It's that feeling of, what is today bringing? Especially when you click on the news or you get a phone call from someone. I've had a lot of people leaving their bodies. I've had 4 really close to me leave. And so there is that. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that. I'm sure there's more people that are experiencing some of that, and we're not able to do the normal things that we can do, right? Not only in just typical life with kids not going to school, but all the way to, you can't go to someone's funeral if they die right now. So it's like, stop and feel and be okay in that acceptance. And that's where I love that, Colin, you brought out that abundance oil, because what do we want to be abundant about? What do you have to add to that, Colin? What can we be abundant about?
Yeah, so as an actor, I face a lot of uncertainty in my 20-year acting career. I don't know when my next job is going to come. And when I first started out, it was kind of exciting, but after a while, the anxiety of how am I going to pay my rent? What am I going to do? How am I going to figure this out? So what I started to learn is life is all about perspective and how you look at it, like you were saying. So if I were to hold up my finger, in the context of body parts, what is this?
Finger.
Finger. In the context of number, what is this?
1.
Number 1. In the context of direction, where is this pointing? Up, right? So we have the ability to choose whatever context we look at something. So you could look at this, what's going on in the world right now, as uncertainty. You can look at it as focusing on what you're seeing in the stock market. You can look at it as like, I'm now stuck in my apartment. What am I going to do? Or you can choose to look at it as, what an amazing opportunity to reconnect with my family and friends. What an amazing opportunity to just be able to catch up on all the things we all say we're too busy to do. What an amazing opportunity to pick up my guitar and start playing again that I haven't played in the longest time. And then also what I've learned from acting is, even though reality isn't maybe what you want it to be. So like when I'm an actor and I go into my audition, I have to walk into these rooms and I have to create myself to be a character. So if I'm playing a World War II soldier, I have to create myself to be a World War II soldier, walk into this small little room, audition room, and imagine it being a battlefield in France. That's not reality. That's not the truth. But what we can do is we can create the certainty for ourselves that, yes, this is what is happening. And even though I don't know if I'm going to get the job, because I've gone on over 2,000 auditions in my life, and I have only booked 2% of all auditions that I've ever gone on. So you could look at it as that's a 98% failure rate, or that 2% allowed me to do movies in Thailand and Cape Town and kiss Kate Hudson and do movies with Sylvester Stallone. And it's all about what you look at it and creating the certainty for yourself. When I was diagnosed with cancer, the reality was, Colin, you have cancer. That's what doctors told me. In my mind, I could focus on, okay, I have cancer, I might die. But I chose to focus on the things that I could control, which were eating healthy, exercising. I was on All My Children at the time, so I was focusing on memorizing my lines, playing Josh Madden, and creating the certainty that I am healthy. We can reassure ourselves that we are okay, regardless of what our environment is, whatever is happening out there in the world. You can create certainty for yourself by saying, I am okay. And in my calendar, when I was going for my doctor appointments, for my cancer checkups, I would write in my calendar, good health appointment. Because in my mind, I was confirming, I was going to the doctor to confirm that I was healthy and that I was good. And our brains are so powerful, but they're basically computers. Whatever you program them with, whatever software you put in there, you're going to get out. So if you garbage in, garbage out. But if you feed it with empowerment, positivity, and little certainty in your life, then that will help you to manifest more empowerment and not be overwhelmed by all the craziness that is out there in the world.
That's right. So I just put in there, I am strong, I am healthy, I am vital, I am alive. And if you all have not done affirmation work, now is a great time to put that into your world, because it's all about that positivity. First, you have to stop and feel. Be okay with feeling. Don't shove it out of the way. I love what you just added, Colin, putting it into context. That was fabulous. It's nice. Put that into context, put your life into context, and then whatever you're feeling, do the other side. So if it's fear, how about I have faith? If you're feeling fear, how about I have faith? Find that other side and turn it into a strong affirmation. Yes? Beautiful. I love it. It's all about that. A lot of people are starting to meditate right now. And for me, the essential oils make it easier to meditate. I don't know if you just saw me. I just put on some frankincense from Young Living, dropped it in my hand, 3 drops, rub it in, take a scent tent, smell it in, and feel. And then let yourself smile. You know, Melody and I talk about laughter all the time because we make reference to our grandma, because our grandma laughed all the time after everything she said. And Colin, you and I have had these conversations about nervous giggles from women.
Yes.
Yeah? My grandmother had that giggle.
My mom has that now.
Everything she said. And if you didn't know her, it was annoying. But if you knew her, you just learned to laugh with her, or it would just keep going.
Yeah.
And the more we would laugh with her, the less that would happen as a nervous thing, and it was just pure joy that would come from her. And I think that's where the universe is asking us to get to pure joy. Yeah? Like, what is bringing you joy? Somebody said on your Melody, I've been watching the chat and trying to answer some of them, and somebody said, time to binge watch Melody Lane. Which she has a lot of video there, so you can be entertained for years. Yeah?
Yeah, there's 2,000 videos, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And that's what's great about you, Melody, is that you don't sit around and wait for someone to say, all right, Melody, we're gonna give you a TV show. You've created it yourself.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's what, as a lot of times we go through life feeling like, I feel like if only this would happen, or if only that would happen. And as an actor, most of the successful actors in Hollywood are people who have created their own shows, who have written their own scripts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not a good script writer, but I was able to create or write my own book in story format. And so I decided, okay, if I go into these auditions, I have to wait for other people to decide if I get hired for the job. And I just got tired of that. So I was like, all right, what can I do to create more certainty in my life? I'm going to write a book. I'm going to go on a book tour. I'm going to now do these online courses where I now invite people into my community, where I show them how to create more empowerment in their life, how to create certainty. And I do it in a fun way where I have people write out a life script, so they get to be the movie star in their own life script story that we write. So we write in Act 1 and Act 2 and Act 3. And I help them identify what it is that they want their life to look like in 6 months, a year from now, 5 years from now. And as actors, that's what we have to do. We do character biographies. We write out who our characters are, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are. And then by writing this little life script, I have them create what their Act 3 looks like, what their fairy tale ending looks like. And for you've created this whole business, this whole online platform where you've got so many people that are inspired by what you're doing. And that's what it's all about, right? I
love what I do. And so I really, really try to encourage people to do what they love. Yeah. I was doing hair for 25 years, and that was my income. I started doing videos because I loved it and kept going because I loved it. And at one point I took a little break, and I had one of my subscribers email me and ask me if I was okay. And I thought, they care about me when I'm not in a video. I didn't think they'd remember me. They just happen to come on my videos. But then that made me see what I was doing and how I was sharing things, and they were all getting something from it. So that made me want to do it, and made me want to do it full time. So I had to figure out a way to make money. And I think in this time happening right now with so many people out of work, Find what you love. You're being forced to do it now. So find what
Yeah.
you love,
Exactly.
and just do it for the love of doing it, and the money will come.
Well, and I have to say, I love all that. And I have to say, I think that we are also being pushed, challenged, encouraged, inspired, empowered to feel virtually for each other.
Yeah.
Because I think that was what I thought. Because Melody has given me amazing training on being YouTube and all the behind the scenes. I showed Colin my light when he was here the first time. He's like, "Ooh, I like your light." And I go, "Thank Melody Lane. I like your, microphone." "Oh, Melody Lane." So she gave me this amazing training, but I still am that person to person practitioner. I really love when someone's in my room, on my table, and I can do energy work, or the retreats that I teach with, 75 to 200 people in them. And I've always been that, right? My yoga class is face-to-face person. How do I teach yoga if I can't adjust them and touch their toe, or, really smile into their eyes? How can I do that? And right now, that's my challenge, is how, and I'm inspired by both of you to say, okay, I'm teaching my first virtual yoga class tomorrow. Okay, so I have my husband and my son. I'm like, all right, tonight we got to do the setup. You guys got to help me. I want this to look right, and I'm going to be frustrated if I cannot see my students a little bit, through the Zoom or whatever. So thank you to both of you, because meeting Colin, I'm like, oh, Colin's putting me on video even more. Okay, Melody's been putting me on video, and I've been hiding from Melody a little bit because I've been traveling all over the place face to face with people. And now I'm looking at it going, you guys, I'm right here. So if you're with me and you're out there and you're like, you haven't been answering the call, I have not, virtually. I get on Facebook Live. I'm very spontaneous. Yes, I can do video. I know I'm good on camera when I get on there.
She's great. Even recording. Like, she doesn't need to edit videos.
I don't want to edit it.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't want to edit it. I just want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to do it.
Yeah.
And so now I am just doing it. So my first online yoga class is tomorrow. And I do thank you both, because both of you have been like that inspiration for me. And I'm happy to give back with what I can inspire you with. And I think that we inspire everybody, because all of us are in this place of figuring out what we love to do and how to do it virtually.
Yeah.
You guys have been out there. Melody, you're an icon in the industry of this, whereas I feel like an icon. I was doing yoga before yoga was cool. I was using essential oils before essential oils were cool. Now I feel like, okay, I'm just one in the millions that are doing it. Thank goodness we held space and made it plunge out there. But now, Colin and I said the other day, an eye hug. Everyone I walk by, I'm looking at, I'm going, do you feel my hug through my eyes?
Yeah.
New world. Yeah.
I forgot what I was just going to say. If they want to participate in your yoga class, they're asking how they can do that.
Let me give you a link. Let me find it. It's my Zoom. It's my Zoom link, and I'll post it here. I've been making people send it or message me on Facebook or Instagram to get it, but with all of you, I will just send it.
And I also want to say Colin and Pamela's YouTube channels and Instagrams are in the description below. You can follow them. And Colin, on your Instagram, I saw where you have that class. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah. So in my Inspire course that I do, it's a 6-week online course where I do weekly group coaching calls on Sundays. And I'll be launching the next iteration of that in 2 weeks. You can go to colinegglesfield.com and click on the little Inspire tab. And in that course, we just talk about getting specific about what it is that you're passionate about, what you want to create, what you've been maybe procrastinating on. And over the past 6 months of doing this, I've had lots of people in these courses say, "Oh yeah, I know I need to grow my business, or I know I want to do a podcast, or I want to do this, but I just hate the way I look on camera. I hate the way I sound. I hate the way I look. I don't know how to use my camera. It's all so foreign to me." And you may be a great real estate agent. You may be a great crafter. You may be an amazing entrepreneur. But nowadays, especially right now, where more and more things are going online, you've got to have an online presence. You've got to be able to just authentically and just be yourself and put out there what your message is. What is your story? What's unique about you? And for a lot of people, that's terrifying. And it's totally normal, because the number one fear in the world is public speaking and putting yourself out there, because we fear being judged. And over the past 20 years of my career as an actor, this is what I've gotten trained to do. I used to be so scared and terrified of standing up, even in like my classroom, and delivering a book report or whatever it was. I literally, sweat would just start pouring out of my armpits and tightness in my chest. But what I loved about acting when I got on stage was that I felt like it felt like I had permission to have a voice. And once I started learning some of these techniques and strategies that we learn in acting class, to be able to confidently put yourself on camera, to be able to not feel like you're in a firing squad where you feel judged and be like, "Oh my God, people are gonna see my pimple," or "What if I say something stupid?" And all that negative stuff can just stop you, so that when you turn on that camera, you don't feel like yourself. You feel like, I'm here in front of 127 Main Street, and this is a house, and shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. And a lot of it just has to do with our own mental gunk that we get stuck in. And so over the past 20 years, I've learned some amazing, powerful strategies and little techniques that help you get over that fear of putting yourself on camera. So on this Wednesday night, at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be doing a live free webinar to launch my next course. It's called Camera Ready. And this is an online course where there'll be 4 different modules, and each of the modules the first one is all about identifying what those limiting beliefs are for yourself, and just kind of, like we were talking about before, having a little mindset shift. The second one is identifying who your audience is and the 4 different types of audience personalities that you need to know how to talk to in order to be able to effectively share your message. The third module is all about what is your content and what is it that you care about it. Why do you, what is it about what you do, Melody, that you love so much? You said you just love what you do, and that's what reads through the camera. And you've got to just get authentically connected to whatever it is that you're talking about. And then the 4th module is the technical aspects of how to place the camera. How not to shoot where there's a window behind you so you're blown out. A lot of people just are like, I don't know where to put the camera. I don't know the framing. Like my mom and my sister, I'll ask them to take pictures of my nieces or whatever for an Instagram post, and it'll be dark and they'll be like really tiny in the corner, and I have to tell them to like zoom in, use the light, turn this way, don't stand opposite side of the window. So this is all that little stuff that most people don't really realize. To be able to produce professional quality video that authentically shares who you are and what your message is, and just get more comfortable doing this, because this is not something that is natural. Like our brains just automatically kick in and want to protect us, so we shut down. And so this course will help you overcome all of that stuff, all that mental gunk that gets in the way of us just being able to do what we love to do.
That's awesome. A lot of people need that, I think. Not even if they want to do video, I think it would also help them just in life or public speaking and
Yes,
get
exactly.
confidence.
Well, I think loving themselves, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's,
Yeah.
I've been having a conversation on here with Stacy that she said she doesn't like what she sees. She doesn't like to look at herself when she sees herself, the video of herself. And I was like, how about some mirror work to work on loving yourself more and seeing yourself for what is really the beauty within. That's the type, I dive deep. I'm that deep dive of doing that kind of work. And sometimes it takes all that, and doing a course like what Colin is talking about and can have that support through the process, all of a sudden you start to see yourself differently. Do you guys ever feel, or did you ever, this is where I'm at the stage of, that when I do a video, whether it's spontaneous, Facebook Live or whatever, I like to look at it again and go, and I look at it and I don't get negative or any of that. I just want to make sure I'm okay with it. This is the stage I'm at. I want to make sure I'm okay with what I said, what it looked like. And I'm at the stage of going, okay, wow, I look better than I told you this, Colin. You started laughing at me. I sounded better than I thought I might have. Like, I'm harder on myself in my mind.
We all are.
It is actually being put out there.
Yeah.
100%. Then I look at it. My husband's always laughing at me. He's like, George is like, seriously, Pam? I'm like, it's not an ego thing. It's an acceptance, being sure of myself thing, that I want this out there. And then when I put it out there, and it's not necessarily for me what everybody else thinks, I want to make sure I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at that stage. But when you were talking, 3 oils came to me that I don't know if I've told you about these 2, Colin. These might be really good for your course. So you know all about Valor because you use that.
Yep.
So Valor brings us courage and confidence and all those things. So that's my everyday. I put 6 drops in my hand, put it on the bottom of my feet, rub it on the back of my neck, take it in. 2 oils I don't think I've shared enough with either one of you is brain power and clarity. So there's been a couple times when we've all said on here, Melody said, almost forgot what I was going to say. You made mention of that as well when you were talking about going into an audition or what have you, like it escapes you. Clarity oil is very clean and crisp. It's different than most of the oils you've smelled for sure, Colin. It opens up the pathways almost to activate your thought patterns. So we diffuse this a lot or put it on a cotton ball with the vent or something in the room. This would be a good one. Remind me to let you smell this when we can actually see each other. Okay. The other one is brain power. Two totally different scents. This one's very clean and crisp and open. You can feel it opening. This one is very grounding and centering and like, puts you in that space where you're like, okay, my whole body now is involved with this process and is really feeling confident to think and know. It's got a knowingness feeling. Very, very awesome. I can tell you, I have to look because I don't know. Everybody always thinks I'm an encyclopedia with this stuff. I'm really not. I have to look on my app to tell you what's in both of them. Melody, do you have either one of those?
I have about 6 clarity because we did talk about it before and I thought I needed that. The problem is remembering to use that one.
So put that in your diffuser. When you're more so, not necessarily video's fine, but when you're really thinking through what crafts you want to get out to the public, like when you're doing your planning, I would say would be. I think I need it every day. And here's why I love clarity too. Basil, that's what it smells like a lot. Basil, cardamom, rosemary, peppermint, rosewood, geranium, lemon, palmarosa, ylang ylang, bergamot, Roman chamomile, and jasmine. So it's got those cooking oils mixed in with those florals. Really powerful. Basil is so powerful for our nerves. It's like a nerve tonic. So I feel like it it's like a nerve cocktail, if you will. It calms down the nerves so that they go, oh, it's okay. I'm not overthinking what I'm doing right now. I'm just allowing my brilliance to shine through. That's what I would say that basil and cardamom are all about there. And then brain power, let me tell you what's in brain power. Totally different oil. Totally different oil. Sandalwood, cedarwood, melissa, frankincense. All of those, there's more oils in there, but all of those are what we call as sesquiterpenes. And well, most of them, the sandalwood, cedarwood, frankincense have a lot of sesquiterpenes, which actually go into the brain like quick. They can break through that blood-brain barrier and go right into that amygdala to say, you got this. Don't worry about those old thoughts and those old patterns. You got this right now. And I will help you pull this to the forefront. Everything you need to know is within you. Getting your brain power, your encyclopedia inside you that you already know to come to the forefront and work for you. It's like asking Google, but you're asking your brain. And that's what brain power pulls in for us. So one of the teachers in our world of essential oils is Lindsay Elmore, and some of you may follow her. And I was on a cruise with her, and I ended up with her bottle of brain power. Look at it. This is how much Lindsay uses her bottle.
Yeah, it's a dark red, not white.
Is that not funny?
Yeah.
I was like, whose is this? It has to be Lindsay's. And she uses it so much the label's worn off. So those are some really good ones that I'm going to pull out during this time that we're home making things happen, you know, for ourselves and wanting our beautiful minds to come to work for us. Very cool. Do you have brain power, Melody?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, get it out. Let's play with it. Let's see if it helps.
I don't have it right in front of me.
That's okay. But, you know, we'll talk about it.
Melody, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What do you love most about what you're doing?
To be honest, I love helping people and teaching people and making them feel happy and good. I try to teach them to be grateful. People ask me all the time, what do I craft when I'm not doing videos, or what are the other things I don't craft unless I'm doing it for a video. Now, I spend a lot of time on Facebook in the Facebook groups trying to help people. That's kind of what I do all day, is I'm trying to help them learn how to craft and do the things they need to do. I try to teach people to be grateful and to be happy. I've been on this kick for a few years now that you have to choose to be happy. Doesn't always just come. And sometimes we have a problem that we can't, it's sometimes hard to be happy, but I tell them to think about what they're grateful for. Because we all have something to be grateful for. Even in the times be grateful we have a home to be in. Everybody watching has the internet. Be grateful for that. Be grateful for electricity. Be grateful the sun is out. Or be grateful for the snow. Pamela had snow today. I don't have snow because I'm in Florida. We always have something to be thankful for, grateful for, and that will change your mood to be happy. And I think being happy and joyful changes your life for the better. And
that's awesome. Having that positive impact on others is what your drive is.
Yeah.
And what I always tell people is, it's all about having that, being very clear about why you're doing something. And for you, it's having that positive impact on others. And let me ask you this. Does it matter how you look when you are making someone else feel good or smile, or after whatever it is you're doing, and they say, Melody, you are awesome. Thank you. You changed my life. You helped me feel like now I have a purpose, and now I feel less alone. You make me feel brave. Do you care how you look when that
No.
person is telling you that.
No, not at all. That's
Right.
not, it's not even entered my mind how I look. It has
Yeah.
nothing to
So
do with me.
it's all about what it is, your relationship to what matters to you.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get connected to that, you will be able to authentically, confidently, and boom, be able to put yourself on camera, because it's not about you.
Right.
It's about what you're doing for someone else. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think helping others, it's a win-win for everybody, because it not only makes you feel good, it makes them feel good because you're helping them. So, I mean, everybody needs to help others, and it just makes everybody feel good. And feeling good is what will change your life to the better. The more positive feelings you have, the more that's going to attract to you.
Yeah.
That's it right there, Melody. The more you feel that, the more you will attract to you.
You have to feel good.
The stages of that I'm talking about, and that these people, many people out there are afraid of, is that they will not attract anyone. And unless they're attracting tons of people, they say, this is the excuses I hear, right? Well, they're influencers. They have so many people watching them already that, of course they're like that. But it's when you get the private messages that are so heartfelt that actually feel good. It's not just the likes, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
It's the heartfelt messages that go, whether you nailed it or not out there when you do something. Whether some days you have on days and off days and whatever.
I make lots of mistakes in my videos.
Right, we do, right? Yeah.
That's what my acting teacher would always say.
Well, if you nail it or not, when you get that private message that it changed someone's life, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
It was like my first book I wrote, my very first book. I grew up in a family that are all successful. Melody knows, right? Like all successful. They were like, oh, you're not a writer. You're not really an author, Pam, because you just wrote down what you speak about in a book. You're not really.
Well, isn't that what an author is?
And, I had to deal with like some stuff coming at me like that. And it was like, well, so welcome to the world of today. And when I wrote that book, I would change a ton of things when I read it now. But at that moment, when my nieces called me and said, Pam, I gave your book to someone that was on the verge of committing suicide, and it changed their life.
That's awesome.
I looked at George and I go, that's it. That's all I need.
I would have cried.
I don't care who reads it from now on. I don't care.
That's right. You saved one life.
I don't care. It helped that one person. I did my job.
Mm-hmm.
Like done.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it's about. So hopefully that's inspiring to people, because I get the other side, or I'll speak for me. I've had the other side where people are like, oh, she's an egomaniac. She's this, she's that. It's like, no. That's not the driving force. The driving force is how many people can we serve? The questions I ask every day, and I know you two do this as well, or I wouldn't be hanging out with you, is where and how am I called to serve?
Yeah. Where
and how am I called to serve? Where am I supposed to be today? So if you are out there and you're standing on the edge of that camera going, do I do this? Do I not? Just ask the question, where and how am I called to serve? And if the question is yes, get out there.
And I started with I'm not going to say 0 subscribers, because I think I did have subscribers before I started doing crafting videos. I had no idea why. I shared a few videos of my niece and nephew and some stuff. And I'm like, why are people subscribing to my channel? That was back in 2006 when YouTube started. But I don't know where I was going with this.
And now how many followers do you have on YouTube?
I have over 2,000 videos on YouTube, but I started with just a few. I was just doing it. Don't worry about how many people are watching. And
Yeah.
if you're doing live videos, pretend you have a huge audience. It doesn't matter because the
Yeah.
video will be there later. You might have 1 million subscribers one day and they'll go back and watch that video.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like when Jamie Foxx won his Academy Award, he was asked, Jamie, you won this Academy Award. Do you ever think this could ever be possible? And he said, yeah. Yeah. I've been dreaming of this since I was 4 years old. Like, it all starts with an idea.
Yes.
Right?
Seeing it done.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. And your thoughts can become real. They really,
Yes.
really do.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, this is a question for you, Melody. I agree with being happy and inspiring others. Melody, you said you have been how you are for the last few years. What changed you?
It's been a long time. I have been changing my attitude to being more positive, trying to think of the positive. It actually happened like 12 years ago where I started doing that for myself. Just trying to look on the bright side of things. There's always a good side to everything, or figuring out what you're grateful for and looking at the positive. The more positive out there feeling you get, the more it comes back. And the thing I was talking about just the last few years is trying to turn everybody else into that. I've done it. I proved that it works. I have everything I've ever wanted in my life. I've gotten it. And it's because I think about it and send out positive vibes, and I get positive stuff back to me.
So I'm going to tell them a little bit of behind the scenes about you, if I may. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Because those of you that watch Melody, you see her in action, right? And she's on, and she is a crafting magician. She's like doing her thing and teaching y'all. When you work with her behind the scenes, and some of you I'm sure have, when you work with her, there's these big long pauses of her processing the brilliant ideas, and she's seeing them done before she brings them out. And I love that about you. I love how I always say to George, it's like, I'm going to ask Melody this question, and I know she's going to like TikTok on it for a while. And she's going to reel, and then it's going to come out, and she's just like going to know. You do that.
Yeah, I guess. I never thought about it.
You do. It's a big... Colin knows me well enough the way I work in business. I am like this, and sometimes don't have a lot of patience. I'm like that. You've taught me like pause. And I can do that in other parts. I'm so multifaceted with what I do. Like, meditation, I'm totally, Zen. I can pop in the yoga room, this. But when I'm talking business, I'm fiery. I'm very pitta, we call it in the yoga world. Very hot, fire, right? And I would say you're more kapha, where you're like, okay, let me think about this for a little bit. Let me be here. Colin, we've got it all going on right here. Colin, in the yoga world, you're very vata, where you're juggling a zillion things in the air. And I'm like, okay, come down to right here, right now for what we're talking about right here, right now.
Yeah.
I know you're thinking about this, and you're thinking about that, and you're thinking about that. It's right here.
Yep.
And that's just the vata mentality of it. So we've got the whole dosha package right here. And what we want is all of us to learn from each other with that, so that we can have a little bit of all of it in each part of us. And we all do. Mm-hmm. You have the fire when you're on in your video, Melody. And you are juggling how many crafts at one time. You've got all that going on. And the same thing with Colin. Colin is watching his teachers and his mentors and setting up and planning all of that out, but we don't see that piece, right? We don't see all those pieces of it. I don't know that you have the kapha going on right now, Colin. That's a little piece that you might need to sit on the couch a little bit more.
What's the kapha?
The kava is more of the grounded, really grounded, and in that moment of just take a little pause.
Yeah. That's what's so good about meditation.
Yes, the meditation helps us get there, but we're still doing something in the meditation.
Yep.
So anyway, just thought I would, bring in that piece of it. The sage. Oh, it's all good. That's a powerful combo. Yes, I agree, Brenda. That's what's coming to me. Like, this is powerful. There's so much more, friends, that is going on in the universe than we really understand right now. And that's where grounding and centering and feeling the pause is important too. Mm-hmm. Like, we keep talking about what people can do and how they can react and how they can be, but how do you pause?
Mm-hmm. That's the hardest part, I think, for most people.
Mm-hmm. Because when you pause, you have to contend with all of your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How do we stop our thoughts, Pamela? When we're pausing.
One point.
So the doorknobs.
It's impossible to stop your thoughts and, like, quiet the entire mind. We use those words. Those words are very yogic. Quiet the mind.
But how do we do that? People say that. We have to.
They say it all the time, but it's really what they're talking about is the easiest way is follow your breath. Observe your breath and just come into, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. Because then if you're concentrating on breathing, you cannot concentrate on anything else, right?
Mm-hmm. So
mindfully breathing is a way to start to practice. Focusing on one thing, that's like that counting the door hinge. Focus on what you're looking at. Focus on that, drop in to what you feel. So there's a lot of education around doing that, but you're gonna come across tons of people doing meditation. And I hope it works for you where you can just stop and do it and practice. So there's a ton of apps out there now, the Calm app. There's a couple others mentioned in your thing the other day, Colin, that people were utilizing. There's a lot of apps out there, and those are great to use, but you don't need anything but yourself and your breath to acknowledge that pause.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
One of the really good analogies that someone taught me, because I had just booked Melrose Place. It was right after all my children, after I'd been shot and my heart had been transplanted. And now I was like, oh crap, now I got to find a new job. I was on that show for 3 years and it was comfortable. I was making, decent living, not like movie star money, but it was comfortable. And a lot of the actors on the show had been on there for many, many, many years. And I had my 3-year contract, and I figured, when my 3-year contract is up, they'll probably renew it, and I'll, just be able to just keep doing this. And when it wasn't renewed, all of a sudden, boom, it was like all these negative thoughts. What's wrong with me? Did they not like me? Did they not like, am I a horrible actor? Did some of the other actors not want me there anymore? And all this like negativity. And what I was like, okay, what can I control? I can control trying to get my next job. So I just kept auditioning, and then I booked Melrose Place. Boom! That show back in the 90s was huge. So everyone kept saying, oh my God, Colin, you hit the lottery. You're going to be this massive TV star. You're going to make so much money. And all of a sudden, then it was like the exact opposite. It was all this like fear and desperation and anxiety of not having a job to all of a sudden, boom, now I've got, in my mind, the biggest job in the world. And like, so I was like, and I was like, I literally like you just could not, I had so much anxiety that I was like, I cannot show up on set like this because I will just look like I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. So a friend of mine I knew, he taught meditation. So I called him up and he said, yeah, sure. It's a week-long, like Monday through Friday process. Show up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and for 2 hours, I'm going to teach you how to do meditation. And on the first day, he said, the thing about meditation that people don't realize is that it's not stopping your thoughts. Because like you said, Pamela, you cannot stop your thoughts. Always going to have thoughts. He said the analogy he used was, it's almost as if like you're walking into a party and a bunch of people in the room, and as soon as you walk in, you see your best friend at the other end of the room. And you guys lock eyes, and you're like, oh, hey, and you kind of like see each other. So you start to make your way through the party. But then all of a sudden, someone comes up to you. Like, oh, Colin, how you doing? How you been? And you wouldn't just immediately be like, good, and walk away to your friend. You would stop, you'd chat with that friend for, oh, I'm good, I'm working on this movie and I'm doing this and I had this and how are you? And okay, great. Well, you know what? It was great talking to you. I'll see you soon. And then you make your way closer to your friend, and your friend is your mantra. So whatever word that makes you feel calm, relaxed, when you do a meditation course, they will actually give you a Sanskrit word, and it's unique to you, and you're not allowed to say what that word is because it's special and unique to you. But you can use a word like calm or blue. And so the recommendation is for 20 minutes, you just sit, put your timer on your iPhone, 20 minutes, sit in a relaxed place, close your eyes, and start repeating that word, calm, calm, and boom, a thought is going to come up. Oh, I forgot to send the bill to the electric company, and okay, I'll take care of that. Calm, calm. Oh yeah, that other thought. I was supposed to shoot. I need to create that video for blah blah blah. And then you acknowledge it, like, okay, as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to write it down in my calendar, and then you return back to calm. So it's like you're walking through the party. You're acknowledging all the people that are running up to you, and eventually, slowly, you don't ignore the thoughts. You acknowledge the thoughts, much like you acknowledge all the people that are saying hi to you. And then, before you know it, you've met your friend, and now you're finally at the end of your practice, you're with your friend, you're in a relaxed state, and you've contended with all of those thoughts. Meditation is a place for you to let those thoughts come up. They're trying to tell you something. And the more we ignore them, the more they're going to persist. Mm-hmm. So if you give yourself the space to have those thoughts come up, and remember that you're not your thoughts, they're just thoughts, and recognize that you just let it come up. Oh, and you look at it as an objective way. So like you can look at it, oh, that's an interesting thought. Oh, yeah, I don't know, I just got let go from my job. How am I going to get a new job? I'm probably going to run out of money and blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's an interesting thought. That's an interesting thought. Calm, calm. Oh, okay, that's an interesting, and just recognize that your thoughts are not real. They're just thoughts.
They don't consume you.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That he was talking about Transcendental Meditation Tm when they give you this word. That's the type of meditation, yes?
Yep.
Yeah. When you were talking about a meditation course, yes. Yep. Exactly. In my yoga world, it's exactly the same thing. The difference is instead of a mantra to go back to, we go back to breath. No different. It's just a different word, right? So we acknowledge the thought, you're there, but we return to the breath. And that's just the difference between like the yoga way of learning meditation. There's so many different ways. There's millions of ways of doing it versus a mantra. That's another way, right? A word. But in every form, doesn't matter which one you're following, never fight your thoughts. Your thoughts are there.
Yeah.
They're there. We wouldn't be human. We're spiritual having a human experience here, right? We wouldn't be human.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
And
thing.
it's funny if you also another really good exercise is take your iPhone, your video or your voice recorder, and all the thoughts that are coming up, as they come up, just say them into your voice recorder, and then play it back. You'd be all the stuff in there. You'd be like, "That's not true. That's not true." Like we berate ourselves. We're like, "You idiot! You stupid! What are you doing? You're not this, and you didn't do that, and blah blah blah." And then once you listen to it, you'd be like, "Man,
Wow.
an asshole! Like, who the hell is that?" Like, you would never say any of this stuff to anyone else, but we say it to ourselves in our head all the time.
Yeah.
And we got to recognize that those thoughts are not real. Honestly, they're just our brain trying to protect ourselves from putting ourselves out there like this. Because as soon as we put ourselves out there, guess what? In our brains, we're like, "Oh crap, people are going to say something. Who cares?"
It's
Really.
none of our business what other people think of us.
You're right.
I have to say that to myself sometimes.
I said today when I was on a Facebook Live, I said, my husband completely makes fun of me for doing this, and he doesn't have to watch. So if you're making fun of me right now, don't watch.
Yeah. And you
Pamela,
gotta think about when people make fun of other people,
it all has to do with them.
people only make fun of other people because in some way or another, they're either suffering or they're not happy with something in their life, and they feel the need to criticize others to make themselves feel better. So whenever I see any criticism, instead of reacting to the actual criticism, you got to look at it from where it's coming from. And like, man, for that person to type out like, "You look ugly," or you got to think like someone who would say something like that is obviously dealing with something that they're not happy with or they're suffering with. So I look at it from bless them.
Yeah.
I try to have compassion for them and not look at the criticism, because the criticism is just coming from the place of insecurity and someone not maybe loving them.
It's a
like,
mirror. It's a mirror. So
Yeah.
people saying what I said is a mirror of how I was feeling.
And I look at it as that person needs a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever I see anything negative on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, oh, that person needs a hug. I'll give you a virtual hug, bless you, and you know what? I'm going to continue doing what I love to do.
Yeah.
I had a comment one time. I've mentioned this many times before. This comment actually made me laugh out loud. Like, I just bursted out laughing when I read it. It said, "Your voice makes me want to punch you in the face." And I just thought that was the funniest thing. Like, what are they so angry about? That's what I thought. It had nothing to do with me, and I didn't take it personally.
Yeah.
Because, I usually don't like my voice either. But for someone to say that, I just thought it was funny.
They're obviously dealing with something that is making them miserable.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't me, because they don't have to watch my video. They can change.
Exactly.
But
No one's making you watch
all the
it.
way through.
Yeah. And they're commenting, which is good for YouTube.
Yes, thank you. Exactly. Say thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Pamela, I also want to say, I was watching you live on Facebook this morning when you were singing, and you told us to sing along. So I did. I did. And then my son is on the other side of the room. He's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "She said to sing along, so I am." She goes, "What are you singing?" I said, "I have no idea."
I've been waiting for someone to tell me that. Thank you. I wondered, because I know that people will say, "Oh, I sang with you. It was so great." People will say that, or I really
did.
And that's great. I'm so excited. Yay. Yeah, I taught, if for those of you that are wondering, it's on my Facebook. I taught a chant, Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, which means May all beings everywhere be happy and free.
Oh, I didn't even know what I was singing.
Yes, I said that.
I had your video on, but doing other things, and then I heard you singing. You said sing along, so then I went ahead and did it.
That's the thoughts, right? Being able to follow all the way through. There's so much going on in our minds. And, through my experiences in yoga, it's been 20 years, right, of teaching this stuff. And so when I first started, I was doing guided visualizations, taking people to their happy place, taking people here, there, and yonder. As we change and shift, our practices change as well. And now I'm all about bringing people into their center. So I very rarely do I take people outside themselves to find goodness. I bring them inward into what's going on inside of them. And that can be a comfortable space, and it can be very uncomfortable. And there is a lot you can do and people you can hang with to find that comfort. And one of my favorite questions to ask is, are you comfortable being uncomfortable?
Yes. So the other side of being uncomfortable is amazing stuff. Swear to God, that's where all the best stuff in life is.
That's where you find it all, is when you're uncomfortable. And I told Colin when I first started meeting with him and pulling some of this out, I'm like, you're making me uncomfortable. You're pushing me along.
Yes.
And I'm grateful. I needed you to come into my life because I'm like Melody. I'm very comfortable in what I do. I have a good gig going on, right? Like I have everything I do, I love. I have the people, I have the followers, I have my business, I have enough of this and enough of that. And then here came Colin.
Yes, and you made me uncomfortable too. So thank you.
I'm like, wow. Okay, here we go. I'm on a ride.
That's the people I want to surround myself with. People that push me to, because they can see my greatness, and that's what it's all about. Like getting out of your comfort zone to live your greatness. And sometimes that takes you getting out of your comfort zone. A lot of times that requires getting out of your comfort zone. Yeah. And that's what you do for me, Pamela.
We do it for each other. Yeah. And then when you shared with me, like strong-willed women, I was like, ooh, I do make him uncomfortable a little. He makes me uncomfortable too. So, Melody, do you remember how uncomfortable I made you feel when we had to walk around your neighborhood?
Yes.
I haven't been invited back. I'm coming back to visit.
Bring more of that spice.
Oh, are you out?
I'm hoarding it.
Don't hoard it. I'll make
because
more.
It's so good. Pamela, you need to package that and sell it.
Well, you help me with that, Brainiac.
Well, I don't know how to do that.
Woman. And we could do that because I told my dad that my entire growing up years. And so this has been willed to my dad, and it's a private recipe that I finally got from him. So I make it for people that are special in my life. So you are one that has it.
Thank you.
So very cool. This has been really, really fun.
Yes.
I just encourage everyone that has been watching and everybody that watches this to enjoy the pause for now if you're watching it during this time in our lives. Mm-hmm. I encourage you to use the tools, and if you don't have amazing tools that can help you, I can help you with tools. Colin can help you with tools. Melody can help you with tools. I really believe in the power of yoga, meditation, any type of exercise, any type of activity like crafting, that cooking, singing, laughter, anything that can bring you into a happier state. And I believe in the power of holistic medicine and wellness as much as I do allopathic medicine. And I think it's important to embrace all with what is going on right now and unify all the knowledge that we have. So know that if you're watching this, you have 3 wonderful human beings here, all of us that care about you and are here for you to answer questions. I have to stay compliant, so don't expect questions about what's going on and answers of what to do. I cannot tell you what to do, but I can support you in it. What else would you like to say, you guys? I think that
I would like to say thank you to both of you. And if anybody is interested in the oils, to contact Pamela. And if it's something that you want to get involved in, Colin is also involved in it.
And join our team.
Well, I am too. You can contact Pamela, and you can choose to join Colin's team or my team. If you choose Colin, that's completely okay. Love Colin. You can choose him if you like, or my team. Pamela really helps me a lot with my team, and she has the answers to everything. So I'll have you contact Pamela if you need help with that. Let me know. And,
I promise I won't stay away for so long. I feel like I kind of left you hanging. I had a lot go on, and I won't do that anymore.
No,
we gotta get
it's
this
okay.
going on more, Melody.
But if you are interested in that, we'll contact Pamela, and you can choose Colin. If it was me, I'd choose Colin. Look at him.
No, it's all about Melody.
No.
That's funny. Well, for sure, follow Colin on Instagram. That's where he's most active. If you want more from Colin and you want to know about his courses and all of that, Melody, of course, is right here. You know how to get in touch with Melody. For me, I'm a lot on Facebook. I have some Facebook groups for the oils and the things that I do, but I'm also on Instagram, kind of, sort of, getting more on Instagram too. So, but Colin 100% is on Instagram.
Yeah. And I would just like to say, Melody, thank you for having us on here. It's been great getting to know you and learning about your community. And it's awesome to see how many people you're inspiring with what you do, because you're really, truly living your passion. And that's what life is all about.
Yes.
And that's what Pamela is doing. That's why I'm really happy to be working with you now, Pamela, and anyone out there who is looking to be supported in living your best life and seeking your passion. Again, you can go to my website, colinegglesfield.com, or on Instagram. If you click on my bio, I've got a list of all the different things that I am putting out there that I'm doing. If you want to join me on my webinar Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, I'll be putting a link there you'll be able to click on and register for.
And that's 7 o'clock Central.
7 o'clock Central, yes, exactly. So 8 o'clock Florida time.
Eastern.
And so it's all about just going after what you really, truly are passionate about in life. And it requires a community of people to help support us in going after what really matters. They say you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And that's something we can control. We can control who we surround ourselves with and who we support and who we ask for help with. And I'm so grateful for you, Pamela, for supporting me and helping me on my journey. And Melody, whatever I can do to help you and your community, let me know.
I want people to leave a comment and tell us what you learned from this video, or what you're going to put into action from this video. And also tell me if you want to see Colin on the channel again. Just to look at.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you, everybody.
This is lovely.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. Thanks, ladies.